My name is Manny Mosico. So, a little background. My family and I started attending GCF last April of 2014. So, next month marks our third year anniversary as members of this church. And we are very blessed, very happy that we're part of this congregation. So, March 2, I received a text message coming from one of our sisters here in GCF requesting me if I can give a testimony about how to love God and others. So, that time I found the invitation inconvenient and untimely because my schedule was full for the coming 2 weeks. No? I was elected as president of the association of our homeowners, and I have to attend to different business we have in Manila and in Cagayan. So I was hesitant to accept the invitation. Pero that night, while I had my devotion, God impressed in me that His invitation is more important than all of this. So, it was obedience, no, that led me through this stage. So most of the time, we fail to discern that God is calling us because, just like me, we want to know all the details. We want to come prepared and are only willing to accept if it's convenient and according to our timetable. We always ask God to reveal His purposes for us, yet we second guess the purpose as whether it is something that we are willing to do. We must remember that the first way that we express our love for God is through obedience to Him. Second thing, or another way to love God, is through prayer. For me, prayer is not just speaking to God, but it is also communion with Him. It is the experience of fellowship that allows us to draw near to Him as we acknowledge our great need for His presence and power in our lives. In prayer, we look to the Lord and His strength to sustain us in our everyday life. As believers, we have God's ear, which is critically important to the life of faith. And as Christians, we know the power of prayer, but just like me, fail most of the time to acknowledge its importance. We think that we are strong enough to fight temptation, intelligent and confident enough to navigate our way through this world, and spiritual enough to understand His Word on our own. It is not God's intention for us to live our lives this way, no? So if we want to grow and be closer with God, I'm taking this opportunity for us to attend the Tuesday prayer gathering here in GCF every 6 to 7 a.m. In here, I learned how to be intimate with God and how to pray for others, not only for my personal need and my spiritual growth, but for the needs of others. With regards to loving others naman, there is a saying that it is easy to love someone who loves you. Yet in Luke, sabi nga sa Luke 6:32, it says, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. Can we love the person who murdered your loved ones? It is simply difficult, and most of us finds it difficult to comprehend the command of God to love our enemies. Kasi 5 years ago, my youngest brother was murdered, no? Because of jealousy and hatred. And the murderers were the people who we grew up with. He was shot in the head, no? And died in the pool of his blood. It was premeditated murder based on the fiscal's finding So for us, it was very hard, especially for my mom to accept such reality that his youngest son, no, at his prime of his life, is dead. But again, through God's mercy and love, we overcome the pain. These offenders are still at large, and the case drags on slowly in court. But the love of God sustains and comforts us through all the proceedings. In fact, during the legal proceedings, one of the murderer's sisters decided to turn witness against uh, her brothers. No, it was at this time, due to the extended contact me and my brother had with her, that we decided to share the Word of God. In time, she herself came to accept Jesus Christ. So despite the whole event feeling like a devastating loss for us, no, in the end, it still was a victory for God's mission to make Him known. Today, I have forgiven the other perpetrators and will always include them in my prayers. I also hope that someone may share the gospel to them, that they will embrace the light. In closing, let us all pray that we obey and heed His call to know Him and make Him known. To God be the glory.